It's not important to commission new works. It's essential, it's crucial. I believe that a symphony is not only a museum where we perform beautiful masterworks from the past with pleasure and inspiration. It's also a space for creativity, not only for us performers, but for the audience to be able to participate to the elaboration of history. Because these pieces we are playing now, especially these three big commissions we are doing this year, we hope that they will be still played in many years from now. It develops, I think, both in our organization, in the orchestra, in the players' identification to their organization, and in the community, this feeling of participating to innovation. When I arrived in Utah, I wanted to develop the idea of commissioning composers and to motivate them to write pieces for our orchestra.
To just really lock into our tempo.
The idea of having different personalities to give contrasts in the commissions was there, absolutely. They have three different backgrounds, they don't have really the same age, and especially not the same teachers, the same idealism, and the same life today. They are in three very different areas in the industry today in America, and I was very careful to make sure that this was very clear. When I arrived in Utah, I knew about Augusta because I was told she was the last one who was actually commissioned for the Utah Symphony. It was in 2006. And then I knew her name because she was nearly 10 years composer in residence with the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. And 2 years ago I did a massive project with Ballet's pieces, Notation. He talked to me about Augusta because he's a big fan of her. And I heard her cello concerto she recently wrote, and I was blown away. I loved it. It represented to me everything I'm expecting from the notion of innovation and creativity.
Eos, Goddess of the Dawn, the ballet for orchestra, is about 17 minutes. And in general, you could think of it as a 17-minute crescendo. So across the 17 minutes is extremely varied and kaleidoscopic in its meaning.
I didn't give her any direction. I just told her, you have 20 minutes. And the best advice I can give you is that be yourself, choose your subject. I'll be happy to know about it, but you know, it's yours. It's all yours. And this is our orchestra, this is our size. Use everything, or the half, or a third, but that's it. And good luck, I can't wait.
I think I will die composing. I mean, I work every day, all day, and it's just so much part of my ritual that I love to do it. And I hope also that the music shows that commitment and the passion and the joy that I bring to it. I hope, I feel that gets into the sound of the piece. Music is my entire life.
It is important for us to record for two main reasons. The first reason is that when you commission a piece, it's good to have the piece resonate. I want the piece to resonate, to be alive in the music world, to inspire other composers, to inspire students, to inspire other players, and this has to be something present everywhere.
A lot of my works lately have been thinking about this idea of control, and this idea of instruments triggering other instruments or making other things happen. All the percussion instruments act as very specific triggers. They turn other people on, they make them go slower or higher or louder or softer. Then all those percussion instruments are like put up in front in one sort of giant control console, you might say, almost like a video game.
I knew Andrew from concerts he did here with the chamber music group called Nova. And then I asked his publisher to send me some scores of what he wrote for orchestras. And I really had this vision that if I would put Andrew Norman with a great soloist friend of mine, who is actually also a friend of Andrew, the percussionist Colin Currie, that could be something quite surprising for all of us. And so it is.
Yeah, I'm super thrilled that the Utah Symphony is recording this piece and making a live recording. You know, as an orchestral composer, it's very hard to actually get my work out there into the world because it happens in this concert hall and that's it. And there's something beautiful about that. You know, it's a kind of rare experience, but it's very hard to get our works recorded, and so the idea that the Utah Symphony is recording this is absolutely amazing for me. I especially love that it's a live recording because I feel like there is something very particular and a very kind of special energy about a live orchestral performance, and that absolutely comes through on a recording. So this is just, it's like a dream come true for me to have this piece born with these amazing musicians and Colin and Thierry, and then to have it recorded as well.
Doing world premieres in Salt Lake is before developing the feeling that an art organization is also looking to the future and encouraging people to discover and to have fun in the unexpected.
The Utah Symphony asked me to write a piece that was in some way inspired by the landscapes in this state. Music, I always think, can't really be about anything, but what I tried to do was sort of marinate myself in all the different available landscapes and see what I could tease out from it. What I learned was that in a lot of cases, the more untouched something seemed, the wilder it seemed, the more you realize that there's a lot of sort of human handprints and footprints on those places.
Asking Nico Muhly to be part of our Three American Composers project was absolutely a no-brainer. Nico is a big figure on the East Coast. He's a very prominent composer today. When I developed the vision of having three American composers, I really wanted to have three different American composers. And Nico represented for me the extravaganza. Everything is fast with Nico. The video component, I think, helped especially the audience very, very much. I am personally believing that music has a sense by itself. So music doesn't necessarily need, you know, a huge screen looking like a mountain with different colors, and to understand it. And in Nico's piece, this piece will be played again without the video, and the piece will have full sense.
So the thing that you're taught to do as a composer, and it sounds really simple, but basically you are taught to shorten the distance between what you hear in your head and how it looks on the page. And so if you've done your job, more or less correctly, how it looks on the page should produce, if someone follows the recipe, what you heard in your head. And what's great for me about, on one hand, about getting older and getting better at doing this, but on the other hand, about having an interpreter like Thierry, again, sort of follow it through, is that it makes it really, really easy. So on the first rehearsal, they read it through, and I thought, okay, well, that's basically it. And then because he has such a clear command of what he wants, and he has such a clear way of executing my sort of vision, so to speak, my audio vision, that we didn't really need to talk about much at all, because the score is relatively clear, and that's the power of music, is you don't need to talk about it too much, because if you just do what it says with your own energy, then it happens correctly.
To know that a new piece will be recorded doesn't change at all my idea or my motivation or my way of preparing myself for the performance. The recording is something on top of it, but the essential in performing a piece for the first time is to have this permanent capacity of wandering. When you study as a conductor alone a score for a long time, and you arrive to the first rehearsal and you do this, and you know that nobody has ever done this before, this sound. You know, it's the first time on the planet that it's really an incredibly gratifying feeling, it's very strong. I put everything I can in both a Mahler symphony or a world premiere. The preparation is different, and the responsibility towards history is different, because Mahler symphony have been performed thousands of times in America, even just this season. But Andrew Norman Percussion Concerto, no, we're the first one ever. So the intellectual responsibility is bigger, and I need to be incredibly well prepared, because as a conductor you cannot make a mistake with the world premiere. If you know, somebody is not, you know, or the conductor or a player not really incredibly at his top in Mahler 5, we know exactly how to correct, and you know, because we are in a territory of knowledge, but the knowledge is very dangerous. As soon as you sleep on knowledge is where you enter in the area of risk. I mean, it's grey is white, I love it. This is very, very special. And before a performance, before the first performance, when I'm backstage, I always having a moment when I say, well, nobody in the planet has heard this before, not even us. I believe that art exists to demonstrate that life is more important than art.